We're doing this project for one reason and one reason alone. We recognize that in the 21st century, the key to building a thriving community is community leadership capacity. Now, what does that mean? That means in today's day and age that all sectors and all silos and all corners of the community have to come together to build the community we'd all want to live in. And the key to that is leadership. Not necessarily formal leadership, but informal leaders in all those sectors, in all those silos, in all those corners need to be at their best. That's why we're doing this, to help you be your best so that you can in turn go out and help build the community that you and I and all of us would want to live in. Now, because it's a first of its kind program, this orientation is so important. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to give you all the information you need to prepare for, participate in, and maximize the impact of this leadership development exercise. Now look, this is first of its kind. It's unlike anything you've ever been a part of. So I really want you to pay attention. Take notes, and at the end, if you need to send me an email or ask me a question, I'm happy to answer anything you might want to ask. We understand, and all futurists and all community gurus say, that the key to a thriving community in the 21st century is community leadership capacity. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that times have changed. Like the business guru Peter F. Drucker said, that every couple hundred years in Western history, society rearranges itself. And the society the grandparents knew is completely different than the society the grandchildren know. He called it a time of transformation. Well, the world has transformed. You know that, and I know that. So then, what kind of leadership skills, abilities, and capacities and competencies do the times require? If community leadership capacity is the key to a thriving community, well, then you got to have leaders that know what the times require. And secondly, it's not just about formal leaders anymore. No, it's not about formal leaders anymore. There's too much to get done. There's too much happening. It's about informal leaders in every corner of the community, in every organization, in every sector. Everybody's a leader. So increasing the leadership capacity is about equipping people with the tools of leadership that the times require. All right. Now let's unpack this program that will help to reach that desired outcome. So if we're going to reach those lofty goals, those desired outcomes, we better build a model to do so. Well, in building that model, we had to take a couple things into consideration. One of the things we had to take into consideration that passive learning models don't reach those kind of outcomes. Now look, let's be honest. You've read the books and I've read the books. You've participated in the leadership 3-day workshops and I have too. You've even taken the CD and put it in and listened to it week after week. Why don't those passive learning models work? Why don't we turn out better leaders at the end of those programs oftentimes? Well, I had to find out. Before we could build a first of its kind leading edge program, we had to find out why so many programs don't work. And here's what we came to find. We came to find that, first of all, 80% of your leadership behavior and my leadership behavior is unconscious. That through our life experiences and through our influences of our lives, both good and bad, we've developed a leadership style, if you will, a way that we get things done or not. And that 80% of that approach is unconscious. We're just doing it. It's also known as a habit. We also came to find that those passive learning approaches aren't effective because within 7 to 10 days of hearing that information fades away. It goes away. It doesn't make the impact because it's not continually being reinforced. And then finally, and you've heard this before, we understood that to change some of those habits, it takes 21 to 28 days to either change the habit or establish a new one. And we looked at that and we said, no wonder passive learning approaches, books, tapes, even workshops, don't work. So we had to build something different. And we have. We call it the change continuum. Here are the two key components of the change continuum. First, that for adults to really learn and for a program to be effective, it has to utilize a blended learning model. And what does that mean? Blended learning model. Well, that means that some adults learn by seeing or reading. Other adults learn by hearing. Some adults learn by thinking. Others by dialoguing. And some by doing. So the program had to have all of those aspects in it. Then it takes 21 to 28 days to establish a habit. I just said that. You know and I know that to be true. So in other words, we had to reinforce information over a period of time. So the change continuum takes both of those things into account. Here's how it works practically. We're going to teach 5 competencies. We'll talk about those competencies in a moment. We're going to introduce each one of those competencies, leadership competencies, and then we're going to reinforce the information over a 21-day period via email, via video, via text message. Every week you're going to get an email from me, and we're going to reinforce the information utilizing that blending learning model. Halfway through the 21 days, you're going to have a chance to have a coaching session with me where I'm going to answer your questions. You're going to be able to text in your question. You're going to be able to Skype in your question. You're going to be able to call in your question. And you're going to get a response from me in real time via live video streaming. We're going to leverage the wonders of technology to create this blended learning approach that's going to completely wrap around you and move you through each one of the 21-day segments. 5 competencies, 21 days, 15 weeks. The change continuum is why this program is so unique. And in combination with the content that is proven and practical, it will make a difference. Yeah, but wait a minute, I don't have time for all that. That's why it's all archived for on-demand participation. All right, so if we're going to have all of that change continuum, we better have a platform for its utilization. Now let's check out the Learning Portal. For the change continuum to be effective, we had to take into consideration people's busy and hectic lifestyles. That not everybody was going to be able to participate in the traditional way. They might have to participate at their own time, at their own leisure. But we wanted to give people an opportunity to participate. And if people missed something, they needed to be able to go back and access it. And because of the beauties of technology, for the first time, we could do something like that. We call that something the Learning Portal. That will then give you all access to the Learning Portal 24/7, 365 from any computer, any platform. You don't need any special software. All you need is your username and password to go there. Now, how do I get into the portal? All right, let's look at how you create your username and password. Don't forget, as it said there on the screen, if you don't get that confirmation email right away, do me a favor, look in your junk email. It may have gone in your junk email. Now, if it wasn't in your junk email, you didn't get the confirmation, then go to the email here at the bottom of the screen. Send a note to the email there at the bottom of the screen, and we'll help you take care of any technical challenge that you might have. All right. Now let's look at the inside of the portal. All right, let's go into the Learning Portal and see how the blended learning model works practically. You type in your username and password. Once you've typed in your username and password, you click submit and you'll enter into the portal itself. In the main video box, you will always find whatever the latest live teaching session was. Whatever that live teaching session was, of the 3 weeks that we're emphasizing, you'll find it there in the box. Then over on the right-hand side of the learning portal, you'll find all of the archived information of the program. So let's say the coaching session, you weren't able to make it. Well, the coaching session will be available there to you. How about the emails? All of the emails that you receive, the reinforcement emails, will be there. Let's say you deleted one. It'll always be there for you. As well as the handouts of the program will always be there available for you. The handouts will always be available for download. MP3s, that's right. You could download an MP3 so you could have learning on the go if you so choose. Now, we also had to have a way for participants to be able to communicate amongst themselves. As you know, there's a Facebook page. Inside the learning portal, there's a forum for you to be able to ask me questions, or a forum to be able to dialogue with other participants. Let's look at that forum really quick. That forum will provide you the opportunity to be able to talk amongst yourselves, to be able to ask questions of each other, or make suggestions, recommendations, or just support one another. We believe that through this learning portal that provides 24/7 on-demand participation, it will provide the blended learning model that will give you the impact that you hope for. As you become a better leader, the community becomes better. And this learning portal and the change continuum will give you the opportunity to do so. Wow, all of that is really cool, Ian. The blended learning model, the 21 days to establish a habit, the learning portal, the change continuum, the emails, the video, the MP3. That's awesome. But what are we going to learn? What are we going to learn? Well, what you're going to learn are the leadership competencies that times require. Well, I've heard you allude to that a couple of times. Leadership competencies. What do you mean? Well, every vocation has certain competencies. Leadership has certain competencies. That complex set of skills, attributes, and attitudes that make up a thing, that make you good at a chosen vocation. Those competencies. There are vocational competencies. There are leadership competencies. This program specifically addresses leadership competencies. How do I lead myself and others? The other thing that we had to take into consideration when talking about these leadership competencies is, what are the leadership competencies the times require? You see, the skills, abilities, and competencies to lead, to win the battles behind me may not be the skills, abilities, and competencies to win the battle before me. I would suggest to you times have changed. Things are different. And the way to lead today is fundamentally unlike the way we've led in the past. So, what are the leadership competencies the times require? That's what we're going to be teaching. In our first session, we're going to ignite the process. The first 3 weeks will be igniting the process. We call it Ignite the Fire. Now, although it may sound trite, we know that there's something in play. It's a law of motion called inertia. That says that something in place tends to stay in place. Something on a certain trajectory tends to stay on that trajectory unless there's a force greater than the one being applied at this time. Well, you know what? There's inertia in your life. There's inertia in my life. We all get in a rut. We all have habits. The only way to overcome those is to ignite the process. It's kind of like the space shuttle down in the States. You know, it takes so much energy. You know, 93% of its energy are used in the first few minutes to get it off the launch pad. The same is going to be true with this program. So the first 3 weeks, we're going to be igniting the fire. We're going to be looking introspectively within ourselves. We're going to be looking at our leadership history, where we've come from and the various influences that have made us what we are today. We're going to do a leadership inventory so we can identify our current style. We're going to look at the way we communicate. There's going to be a lot of introspection in the first 3 weeks. Then we're going to introduce the first leadership competency, agent of change. How do I change me? And how do I change my situation? And how do I affect change? How do I become an agent of change? Then we're going to talk about systems thinking. Systems thinking. Big picture, holistic systems thinking. If you're going to be successful in the 21st century as a leader, you better understand the connectivity of people and things. The universe is a system, and so is a community. Our society is a system, and so is the neighborhood. And systems either organically grow up and take hold or intentionally developed to reach a desired outcome or for a specific purpose. Are you a systems thinker? Then we're going to learn to be a catalyst for responsibility. A catalyst for responsibility, being able to get things done through other people. And then finally, we're going to learn to effectively plan. Effectively plan. So, we're going to learn leadership competencies that times require, putting new tools in your toolkit, and then through the blended learning model and the 21 days to establish a habit, we're going to make sure that those leadership competencies take hold so that you can utilize them to build the thriving community we'd all want to live in. All right, let's look at the technical requirements to be able to access the learning portal and to participate in the program. Well, you should be able to access that on any platform that has high-speed internet. You don't need any special software or anything of that nature. You should be able to access it on your iPad. You should be able to access it on your laptop. You should be able to access it on a desktop at the library. You should be able to access it on your smartphone. You should be able to access it from just about any platform anywhere in the world. If you have some technical challenges, all you have to do is go to the email address on your screen. And we can coach you through any challenge. Don't wait. Don't wait. If you have a technical challenge, let us know sooner than later so that we can coach you through it. But that's the simplicity of it. Everything is archived on the learning portal, and you should be able to access it from any platform, anywhere in the world, as long as you have high-speed internet. Let's do a quick recap of all that you need to do to be able to participate. 1, you gotta go create your username and password. There's the URL there on the bottom of the screen. You go, you create your username and password. That will allow you to log into the learning portal. Now, some of you have already done that and you're watching this in the learning portal. Good job. Secondly, test your technology. Go into the learning portal, sign in, make sure that that orientation video is working for you and that you don't have any challenges. 3, make sure you join the different social media accounts. That will keep you abreast of what's going on and allow you to communicate with other participants. 4, make sure you answer the questions that I emailed to you. Those 3 questions. Just make sure you get them back to me before the program begins. That way, I know your expectations and we can ensure that your expectations are met and exceeded. We're going to do everything we possibly can to help you in this 15-week journey to become the best leader you can possibly be. We're 100% committed to doing so. The only thing we ask in return is your best. Now, I know that life happens. There'll be a lot going on. So some of you will not take the traditional approach. You won't participate every week for the 15 weeks. That's why we have it on demand. All I care about is this, that while you're participating, you're giving your best, doing the best that you can. If there's ever any way that I can help you, I'm here and available to you. That's my personal commitment, is to help you become the leader I know and you know that you can be. What's the ultimate payoff for this? Because see, you're not being charged a penny. The ultimate payoff for you and for us and for the community is you take what you learned and you go and do something with it. That's how you're going to pay us all back, because you're not putting in any money. All you're putting in is some sweat. So we're going to provide an awesome program. You're going to provide your best, and the net effect is going to be a better community because you're a better leader. You're going to take what you learn and you're going to go and do something with it. Thank you for participating. I look forward to working with you. Take care, everybody.